Bear with me for just one moment, please. I will call to order the March 17th, 2025 regular meeting of the Marshall City Council. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Wolfersberger.
Here.
Member Cheney Huggett.
Here.
Member Gates.
Here.
Member Hackworth.
Here.
Member Skibby. Member Traver.
Here.
And Member Underhill.
Here.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I ask City Council to rise for invocation from Kevin Phillips of Grace Point Church, who is not here. Then I'll ask Council to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. That being said, we'll move to the approval of the agenda. Tonight we have no public comment. We have our consent agenda with city council minutes, city bills, Michigan DNR Trust Fund grant resolution of support, Senior Services Calhoun County grant application for Dial-A-Ride, no presentations or recognitions, no informational items. We'll then have, no public hearings, no old business, no reports. We do have one item in 13A for Zoning Board of Appeals appointment. And then we'll have public comment on non-agenda items and council and manager communications followed by adjournment. I would seek a motion regarding the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Support. Motion and support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved. Move to public comment on agenda items. Persons addressing city council are required to give their name and address for the record when called upon by the mayor. Members of the public shall be limited to speaking for a maximum of 3 minutes. Comments shall address agenda item topics only. Public hearing items shall be addressed during the public hearings portion, item 10 of the meeting agenda. Non-agenda items shall be addressed during the public comments, non-agenda items, item 14 portion of the meeting agenda. Is there anyone here wishing to address city council tonight? Mr. Adams?
Should have wore a sombrero. Barry Wayne Adams, 6.2 West Green Street. Don't know what's going on with the City Planning Commission, but they seem to have better things to do. But I guess in the words of Thomas Jefferson, the government that governs best is the one that governs least. So the things that are for planning right now are very volatile, and with the new administration in Washington, things are making a real big change. But I see that there's interest in revising the regulations on signage, and pertaining to that, I want to remind the council of their oath of office and the constitutional mandate of Article 1, Section 5 of the Michigan Constitution. I've said it many times. No law shall be enacted Let me get it right here, do the whole thing. Every person may freely speak, write, express, and publish his views on all subjects, being responsible for the abuse of such right, and no law shall be enacted to restrain or abridge the liberty of speech or of the press. I've said this many times. That waiver of tort is still in effect and has been in effect for almost 2 years now. So every time there is a attempt to procedurally usurp my ability to make public comment that constitutes an injury which can be remediated through the federal courts. Done it before. But pertinent to the signage thing, remember there's a bright line between public and private, and there's a First Amendment and Article 1, Section 5. All regulating of signage only pertains to signage dealing with commercial issues, political speech, non-commercial public speech is exempt from any such attempt at regulation by virtue of the Michigan Constitution. So just remember, I mean, regulate away. It seems, there's a real thirst for regulation. But even in spite of non-injuring signs. But remember that bright line between commercial and private. So I'll be back.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Does anyone else wish to address council tonight on an agenda item? Seeing none, we'll move to consent agenda. We have our city council at 7A. We have city council minutes from our regular session on March 3rd. City bills, we have purchases February 28th, 2025 in the amount of $1,796,547.83. We have purchases on March 4th, 2025 of $16,229.05. We have purchases on March 7th, 2025 of $448,793.62. We have purchases on March 11th, 2025 of $4,525.00. We do have a very late addition to the city bills. We have our Michigan South Central Power Agency bill for the month of February. So we'll amend the city bills section of the consent agenda to add $836,062.03 for a new total city bills of $3,102,157.53. We then have our item 7C, Michigan DNR Trust Fund Grant. They asked for a resolution of support. And Senior Services of County Grant Application for Dial Ride 7D. I would seek a motion regarding the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as amended.
Support.
Motion and support, and so roll call vote, please.
Member Cheney Huggett.
Yes.
Member Gates.
Yes.
Member Hackworth.
Yes.
Member Skibby.
Yes.
Member Traver.
Yes.
Member Underhill.
Yes.
Mayor Wolfersberger.
Yes.
Motion carries, Your Honor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That moves us all the way down to 13A. And I would imagine Director Strange or? Oh, this is mine. Well, there's that. This is a reappointment of Arthur Hill to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Arthur's been on the Zoning Board of Appeals, I believe, for about 1.5 years now. And I believe he brings a great views and thinking on the topics that come there. So I'd like to recommend him for another term ending March 10th, 2028.
I move that we approve the reappointment of Arthur Hill to the Zoning Board of Appeals with the term ending on March 10, 2028.
Second. Support.
Motion and support. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. And that brings us very quickly to item 14, public comment on non-agenda items. Persons addressing city council are required to give their name and address for the record when called upon by the mayor. Members of the public shall be limited to speaking for a maximum of 2 minutes. Comments shall address non-agenda items only. Does anyone wish to address city council tonight on non-agenda items? Yes, ma'am. Oh.
My name is Joan Budash. I live at 412 Allen Road, and I just have a question regarding the construction development project that's going on right now. Can someone please explain the rationale for why Allen Road needs to have a sidewalk? And we sent Ryan Underhill an email about a week and a half ago, and we haven't had a response, so that's why we're here.
This isn't a question and answer session. I do apologize. We'll be, if you'd like to get with the city manager or me after the meeting, we'll be happy to discuss.
I'm sorry.
It's not, we don't do question and answer. But if you'd like to get with either city manager Derek Perry or myself after the meeting, we'll be happy to talk about that.
Okay, and if there would be another question for the developer, the construction developer, as to the grading of the property that they're working on, if they're going to reduce the height of the hill, because we've learned that the other development that they did a couple of years ago, there was some issues with flooding in the adjacent neighbors' backyards. So I don't know how we can find out, talk to the builder or find out what they're going to do back there.
Yeah, I mean, talking to the builder would be the best route. But we may have some ability to answer that question based on what they submitted to the planning commission. I'd have to take a look.
So how would we find that out then?
Again, speak with city manager Perry or myself after the meeting. We'll arrange.
Afterward?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else wishing to address council on non-agenda items? Mr. Adams?
Have some curtains. Okay. All right, Brady Wayne Adams again, 622 West Green Street. What I was talking about at the last meeting, how we're actually under non-civil authority, actually military authority. I'll refer to Section 2.07 of the Marshall City Charter exerting, well, I'll go through the whole thing. The mayor shall preside at meetings of the council. This is the duties of the mayor at Section 2.07. The mayor shall preside at meetings of the council, shall be recognized as the head of the city government for all ceremonial purposes and by the governor for purposes of military law. Remember what that just said. For purposes of military law, but shall have no administrative duties except as otherwise provided in this charter. At the first meeting in January following each regular city election, the council shall elect from among its members a mayor pro tem who shall act as mayor during absence of disability of the mayor, and if a vacancy occurs, shall become mayor for the remainder of the unexpired term. The salient point is something that I already stated. It is part of the performance obligation of the mayor to implement martial law, the martial law of the governor, which relates to Article 5, Section 12 of the Michigan Constitution, which says the governor shall be commander-in-chief of the armed forces and may call them out to execute the laws, suppress insurrection, and repel invasion. Now, the governor shall be commander-in-chief. It's not shall be in case of insurrection, in case of emergency. It's not conditional, it's mandatory. You guys are implementing martial law and you're not supposed to be doing it.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
And that's all you gotta say.
Anybody else wishing to address council tonight? Yes, ma'am.
Emily Emerson Rich, 616 Union Street, Marshall. I just want to make everyone aware, on council, whoever's watching video or the recording and in the audience, that this Saturday, there will be an equality rally at our fountain. And I'd encourage everyone, both of the LGBTQ plus community and our allies and community members, to show up in support for that. We will be walking along Michigan Avenue on the south side, all the way down to the not the library, the post office, to have a moment of silence for those of us who have lost our lives simply for existing. So I just want to invite everyone to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address council on non-agenda items tonight? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Kelly Isaac, City of Marshall resident. Just a reminder that Michigan House votes to ban lawmakers from signing NDAs. That happened in February last month. It was a bipartisan vote, lots of support on both sides. I think that we can take a lead from the fact that they thought it better than to let lawmakers sign NDAs. I think our council needs to follow suit. And those that are still in existing, holding an NDA, need to revoke their NDA or resign. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address council on a non-agenda item tonight? Seeing none, we move to council and manager communications. Member Skibby. Thank you. Member Gates.
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Hackworth.
Good night. Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Go to Madam Clerk.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Manager Perry.
I'll pass.
Wow, we're moving right along.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Thank you. And Member Underhill.
Nothing also, thank you.
Okay. I don't have much either. It is kind of a quiet time of the year and the calendar for Marshall events. That being said, it's great to hear we have a nice event happening this weekend. Tomorrow at 11 at the casino, they are doing a presentation of the revenue sharing that the casino does. And I will be in attendance for that. Other than that, I guess I will seek a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Meeting's adjourned.